Well, welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and I'm talking to you today about ways to ignite humanity. That's right, ignite humanity. Think about it. What does that word really mean, to ignite humanity? Well, ignite is a powerful word that sparks joy and effervescence. It's like the catalyst that begins the spark, the ignition, the awakening to something more. We love the word ignite, and at our publishing house, Ignite Publishing, we talk about how we can ignite people through the power of storytelling. I've been so blessed to publish over 750 authors in the last half decade, talking about what we share as our ignite moment. Now, we all have ignite moments, those moments that happen in our lives. And sometimes it isn't until later that we look back and realize that was the ignite moment. That was the moment that started everything. That was the moment where it all began. That was the moment where my mind and everything I knew shifted for something different. Something new in me happened from that ignite moment. And what it makes it so interesting about an ignite moment is that these are the times in our lives that really change us and redefine us. And it's very interesting when we can look back. We have a couple of different ignite moment ideas. One is an ignite impact moment. Often in our lives, something in our childhood will happen to us, or at a young age, or an impressionable age, or almost at any age. But an ignite impact moment will happen that will impact us and somehow change the way we believe or think about ourselves. Often people are experiencing ignite impact moment from a teacher or a guide or a coach or a parent. Or sometimes it happens from something that happened in the environment or in our communities or in our countries. Many people are experiencing impact moments through war or through politics or through moves or divorces or major obstacles or situations in life that they need to overcome in that ignite impact moment. And because of that moment, they live their lives differently. They live their lives believing something. I can't go there. I can't do that. I'm not allowed. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I'll never win. I'll never succeed. That ignite impact moment often precludes our own belief in ourselves to believe something different. And for many years in our lives, we live according to that ignite impact moment. Later in life, what happens is an ignite transformational moment will occur, where something happens just as impactful, but it changes our thinking. It redefines our thinking. It wakes us up. And we have been so blessed with over 750 stories in our multiple Ignite compilation books. Over 24 books we have published talking about stories where people have been woken up through an Ignite transformational moment that has changed the way they feel based on an Ignite impact moment. Now, the great thing about that Ignite transformational moment is that once they change their thinking and they can look back at the impact moment with a new idea and a new perspective, they literally can change the way they feel. And just like a file folder system and a deck of cards all coming into place, things in their lives start to just recollect, reorganize, collaborate, reshuffle into something better, because this Ignite transformational moment has changed the way they believed about something else. And we've seen it over and over again with our stories. We've had individuals who have had something. I remember one of our stories where one of the authors was hiding underneath her table in her home in Israel as bombs were going off. And she formed a belief system in her mind at a very young 8-year-old. Later in life, when she was in her 40s, she realized that many of the things that she learned and believed and formed opinions about from living in a war-torn country, she could let go of, she could shift, she could change, she could redefine that, realizing that it wasn't something she did, it wasn't her fault, it wasn't because of her, it wasn't a limitation, and her life began to change. We've seen that over and over again with individuals who've gone through bankruptcy or gone through loss of a business, who've gone through loss of a child, who have gone through devastating events that have made them believe something, and somehow their Ignite moment has woken them up to something new. We love to tell those Ignite moments because so often people become the victim of that situation, whereas Ignite authors and Ignite individuals love to become the hero of that situation. Now, it isn't always easy They sometimes need to, what I say, crawl over broken glass to get to their success or to get to the other side. But the great thing is they decide one foot after another, one moment, one perseverance, one resilience, one powerful decision that they are going to be the heroes of that story. And it could take years, but they truly decide to put on the hero mentality into their mind. They're not going to be victimized by their circumstance. They're not going to be held back or held down. They're truly going to allow the situation to empower them and inspire them and spark something else. And that's what we love about that word ignite. It's like a match lighting and sparking a flame. And from a flame, fire can create. And from that, there's so much more that can be magnified. And so those ignite moments spark something. They spark a new idea. They spark a new decision. And many, many people who have had ignite moments, in fact, what I love to say is that every single person has had an ignite moment, multiple ignite moments. In fact, with all of our books, we realize that people have more than one ignite moment. They have an ignite moment in their health and wellness. They have an ignite moment in their parenting. They have an ignite moment in their relationships. They have an ignite moment in forgiveness, an ignite moment in wisdom. We have multiple books and so many different themes, because throughout our lives, many of us go through ignite moments where we realize we have to take care of our health, or we realize that we commit to our family or to our personal development, to our spirituality. Many, many times something will spark in us, and immediately from that moment on, we are different. And we love sharing those stories because ignite moments are powerful and they're inspiring. There's so much news and data and sharing on the planet that isn't positive, that isn't encouraging. We're often seeing the worst of the worst. We're finding out, and they're always talking about the bad things that are happening. Whereas with an ignite moment, we really want to focus on the good. Now, something bad could have happened or something very challenging could have occurred. But from that, it was the push that the individual needed to decide that they were going to do something different, something dynamic, something interesting, something empowering. And again, when we say these words, it's not the end all be all. It's not the absolute. It's that they decided that they were going to do the little tiny micro steps to get to where it is they wanted to go. And the truth is, in reviewing all of these ignite moments and the so many stories that I've edited and published, I've realized that we all have these moments, and how we share them and how we express them and what we learn from them is truly how we can help other people. We can pull people forward who are just a little bit behind us with the wisdom and the lessons and the blessings that we have gained from our ignite moments. And when you read a story about somebody else who's been through something similar to you, and you see that they've been able to overcome it, you feel inspired, you feel motivated. In fact, something very magical is going on in your brain where you're assigning and aligning with that person's perseverance, with that person's outcome, and you're foreseeing that for yourself. And so when you read positive content and you read encouraging stories and you see other people who are doing things where they have overcome something similar to what you are enduring, you feel capable of reaching a different outcome than the one you currently have. Imagine the changes that could happen on humanity if we were all seeing what was possible for us, if we were noticing through stories what we were capable of, if we were seeing people who've gone through exactly what we are going through, and we see the success, the resilience, the perseverance, the dedication, and the outcome that they have achieved that is different than the negative outcome or the disastrous belief system that we have that we're not capable. Imagine how many people would feel empowered, would feel inspired, and that would change a whole mindset of individuals. It's fascinating to think that storytelling, just the power of storytelling, could start to move a huge trajectory for humanity. We've been seeing storytelling since the beginning of time. We know that people have been gathering around the fire to tell stories. We've seen rock carvings on the wall of storytelling. We've seen storytelling in the pyramids. We've seen storytelling in the scribes. We've seen storytelling throughout history. From the very beginning of evolution, people have been telling stories. Stories to show value, stories to show commitment, stories to show perseverance, and how the human instinct, the human desire really is fortuitous to accomplish what it is it wants. Stories are powerful, and why now should stories be any different than igniting humanity than what they can do, and we learn stories from each other. Now, the great thing is we love to publish those stories, and we do that in our compilation books. And of course, I want to share that we're doing a huge compilation book for Ignite Humanity. In fact, humanity is massive, and so I want to make this compilation book massive. I'm doing a 280 stories in one book, 280 Ignite stories in one book. And I'm doing that so that we can ignite humanity. Now, we're looking for people just like you who have these stories, who can share their stories and talk about their Ignite moment. Now, some people have an Ignite moment that makes them want to get more committed to their health. Some people have an Ignite moment that makes them want to help their community. Some people have an Ignite moment that makes them want to rekindle a relationship. Well, we're looking for Ignite stories that are talking about how something has happened in someone's lives that has made them want to ignite humanity. A perfect example is, we all know, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Well, that was started from a woman who lost her son to a drunk driver. And from that terrible impact Ignite moment, she decided to do something to help humanity. She decided to start an organization for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. And many people have had things happen to them that have inspired them to then go on to do something to ignite humanity. Think of all the people who are working at the UN. Think of all the people who are starting nonprofits. Think of all the people who are doing charities, building schools, building wells, helping all of the many problems we are having in humanity. They are inspired by that. Saw a film about an incredible gentleman who is helping to save the wildlife in the ocean due to the overpoaching and all of the taking of the fish against the rules. And he was inspired to ignite humanity by something that happened to him. And so when we look at people who are doing wonderful things around the globe, we can see that something may have sparked that. For a person to want to save the rainforest or want to help conserve the endangered species, or people who want to do something to do with diversity or inclusion, people who want to change the climate crisis. These people have all been inspired by some Ignite moment in their life. It wasn't haphazard. And so what we're interested in is seeking out those people who have Ignite moments that are wanting to do something to ignite humanity and be a part of our book. If that interests you, please apply at our website. You can find out more about how you can be one of our authors at ignitehumanity.life. There's a little tab at the top that says book, and you can see more about what we're doing with our Ignite Humanity book. I truly believe that a book of this caliber, with people sharing stories about igniting humanity, and 280 authors from around the globe, from all different countries and all different areas, this will wake up society. People will get interested in this book, and every single person on the planet will be able to read some story in that book that will speak to them and inspire them and motivate them, and realize that if that person can do it, I can do it too. If somebody can get through so much difficulty of losing a child, or being in an impoverished country, or going through a war-torn situation, and then decide to do something good and decide to do something to help others because of it, can you imagine how many people inspired by those stories can then do something to help, and then that helps somebody else, and that helps somebody else? That truly is the desire for a ripple effect. We're truly trying to make a ripple effect here with Ignite Humanity through storytelling. And why did I choose storytelling? Well, it's absolutely free. And why did I choose storytelling? Because every single person on the planet has a story. Every single person has a story. It doesn't matter if you live on the street or you live in the Taj Mahal. It doesn't matter if you have lots of money in your pocket or no money in your pocket. You have a story. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter where you were born. You have a story. And your story is unique and special like no others. No one has walked the path that you have walked. Therefore, your story is valuable and precious, and a treasure gem to be learned by others of how you stepped into that better version of yourself. Now, think about it. You may be sitting there being like, I don't have a story. Fantastic. Time to create one. Time to look and decide, what kind of legacy do you want to build? What do you want your story to foretold? Maybe the previous chapters have been difficult and hard, but how can we turn the page and make the new chapters be something beautiful and magnificent? And it starts with the Ignite Humanity principles. You can just one day at a time start doing something to ignite humanity and use your story to inspire others. Take what you have been through, look back in your life and realize where something has happened to you where you could start to be an advocate for that. We look at so many Ignite stories in our repertoire, and we see people who have lost a child and through infertility, and they've become fertility experts. We've seen situations where people have lost a partner through cancer or another disease, and they have become advocates for grief. We've seen individuals who have been through violence or abuse, and they have moved on to become advocates for others who have endured the same. We've seen so many examples of individuals who have gone through trials and tribulations, and then they have decided that they were ignited to do something more to help others. Now, that's what this show is all about. I like to show up Monday to Friday, every day at this time, to talk about ways to ignite humanity. Now, normally we have a guest on the show, but today's guest was here for a brief moment and then went through an online or like an issue with the Wi-Fi. And so we've lost her from the show. So I'm coming to you compassionately sharing with you completely from my heart to yours about how powerful Ignite moments are and how incredible your Ignite moment is and your storytelling can be. Now, you can be in one of our books or you can be on our show. We'd love to tell Ignite moments on our TV show. If you would like to be a guest on the show, fill out our type form and tell us about you. Share where you were born, where you live, what your Ignite moment is, what you believe about humanity, what you want for humanity, what your goal is, what you're wishing for, and how you see what you do and how that could help humanity. We're fascinated because the truth is every single person on the planet is so unique and so diverse, all has their own special way to ignite humanity. It's not cookie cutter. We're not all doing the same thing. In fact, we're all doing something different, and we're doing it uniquely to us. There are many coaches, teachers, trainers, authors, entrepreneurs, business owners, lots and lots of humanitarians, philanthropists, and people who are doing things to help humanity, but they're all doing it uniquely in their own way. That means you have a unique story and you have a unique way of igniting humanity, and we would love to hear about it. Why? Because something you say might speak to somebody who's listening. Not everything about my story or my past or the things that I've been through or the trials that I have overcome will speak to every single person listening. But what I know is if I do this show day after day and I bring on incredible guests, something somebody says here will speak to somebody listening. In fact, what's so fantastic is most people will show up and listen to the show the very day the guest is speaking directly to them. That's how powerful the universe is. Making sure that you hear this message on the day that you need to hear this message. And so today's message is maybe it's time for you to write your story. In fact, you may be thinking inside, like, I've always wanted to write my story. I've always wanted to be published. Well, now may be the time. Ignite Publishing is proud to publish compilation books throughout the year. Not only are we doing Ignite Humanity, but we are also doing Ignite Creativity, a book all about people who have stepped into their creative zone of genius. And it's not just artists, but creatives, people who are innovative and inventors, people who are thinking outside the box, people who are doing things differently and creatively. And the reason why that book is so special is because we often feel that the creatives of the world are truly going to shift the needle on humanity. Creative people are thinking of new solutions. Creative people want to find other alternative ways. Creative people are visionaries. They're thinking about the things that have never been done before. And in fact, creative people really don't know what the word impossible means, because to them, anything is possible. They put in the time, the effort, the work, the research. When we think about all the great inventions that we are experiencing, all the wonderful things that we get to enjoy, they all were created by somebody who was super creative to believe it was possible. And so writing a book about those stories is going to be powerful and inspiring. In the fall, we're doing a book called Ignite Impact, which is talking about people who have had an Ignite moment that made them want to create impact. And that means doing something to create a difference, doing something to cause change, doing something that is touching lives. And I often think that when people are fully successful and financially abundant, it's because they're thinking about how many people they can help. They're thinking about how many lives they can impact in a positive way. They're thinking about the way that they can make impact that is different than what's happened before. And so Ignite Impact in September is going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you've got a story around impact and you are making an impact somehow in your community, in your home, in your family, on a team, in your city, we would love to hear from you, because the more people who are showing how to make impact, that is going to make a huge difference. In January, our book is Ignite Resilience. We're talking about people who have gone through difficult challenges and found resilience to step through to the other side. Many people have been through difficult and or challenging, like climbing Kilimanjaro. We've had authors talking about that, or flying to a different country, or racing across the Siberia. We've had authors share different things about this idea of resilience, of being resilient over and over again in the face of adversity. We know that first responders are resilient. We know that teachers are resilient. We know that parents are resilient. There's so much resilience in us to pick ourselves up and keep going and show others that it can be done. A book about resilience is super powerful. If you have a moment in your life where you found your resilience, where you knew you could do it against all odds, you decided to keep going, we would love for you to be a part of that book in 2025. So as you can see, these books and these stories are truly designed to ignite lives. And Ignite Humanity is my desire to allow stories to really touch the lives of one another. Super inspiring for me is that when we step into a storytelling and hearing somebody else's story, we find deep compassion and deep understanding. We really connect with one another. And I'd love to share a story with you. I was on a plane a few months ago, last year actually, sitting beside a woman, and she started sharing with me her Ignite moment. I, of course, asked her what it was. We hadn't talked through most of the flight, but eventually we started chatting, and I asked her what her Ignite moment was. And she shared that she was flying to a new city to see her father, who she hadn't seen since she was 3 years old. Now, she had been searching for him. She was now in her late 40s. And all she had was his name, her mother's name, his mother's name, and the city that he lived in. His name was Miguel Luis, and she had found 27 Miguel Luises in that town. And what she did was she closed her eyes and ran her finger along the list of them and stopped on one. And she phoned him and said, "Was your wife's name Peggy? Was your mother's name Lisa?" And he said, "Yes." And she said, "I'm your daughter." Now, I got goosebumps everywhere. It was such a great story. And she shared how she was nervous to see him, but excited. She was so enthusiastic. She was thrilled. She wanted to learn all about his culture and all about the way that he did things. And it made me realize that I really started to care about her. I really started to have this emotional attachment to her. And as the plane landed, we went through quite a bit of turbulence, and it started to get quite bumpy. It was a bit nerve-wracking for both of us. And I started to think in my head, if something were to happen to this plane and we were to crash, I would do everything to save her, because I cared about her after her telling me my story. If she had never told me her story, and the plane crashed, all I would have done was save myself. And that was a light bulb moment for me, an Ignite moment, to make me realize that stories bring us together. Stories create friendships, create camaraderie, they create compassion and empathy. Stories build friendships, they build relationships, they build understanding. And stories make us want to be more invested in another person. That means stories can end prejudice and racism and wars. Stories can end these differences that we feel about one another, because when we learn their story, we feel more connected to them. Now, I had never been in the same situation as her looking for my father, but what I did know was I have a father, and the feelings of longing to know more about them, to be with them, to reconcile, to reconnect, all of those feelings that she was feeling, I felt too. And what that made me realize is our stories can create these imprinted, beautiful emotions upon one another. when we tell our stories in a positive way. And so my goal is to ignite 1 billion lives with 1 billion words. And in fact, what if we could share 7 or 8 billion Ignite moments? What if we could all come together and really learn and understand each other's Ignite moment? Wouldn't that make us feel different about each other? Wouldn't that make us want to know that person more? And wouldn't that end this feeling of competition and segregation and defensiveness that we sometimes have when we just have an opinion about someone instead of knowing their story? If you're a fan of the show and you've been watching, you've heard some of my stories, and you've heard me share about my kids and my family, my cycling trips, meeting my husband, getting married in Estonia, traveling, writing my books, and all kinds of things that I've been up to. And I only can believe that you keep coming back because you feel closer to me due to my stories. I want to feel closer to you by reading your story. And once again, I invite you to be a part of one of our books. Go to our website and check out all of the books that we have available and see what we're up to. Now, most importantly, if you'd like to connect in person, I'd love to share that I'm going to be in Las Vegas on May 16th and 17th doing our event called Gatherama. We're gathering people together to ignite their lives in multiple ways. We love to ignite your business. We love to ignite your brand. We ignite your book and your story and anything that you want to do when it comes to publishing and writing. And we also ignite your breakthrough, because sometimes we have to break through something in our mindset or in our heart set to make us really achieve our dreams. Ignite Gatherama is all about bringing people together. There's going to be many people there. We have 54 speakers speaking on multiple stages at the event, and we truly invite you to come there. Click on the link below and check out Ignite Gatherama May 16th and 17th in Las Vegas, Nevada, 2024. Well, I've talked a lot, and sadly our guest was not able to show up. So I just want to remind you, if you feel you have a story, we would love to publish it. Go to Ignite Publishing, Google it, or just go to our website and check out what we're up to and find out how you can be a part of our publishing. If you have a solo book in mind and not just a chapter or a story, we always help people write their solo books. In fact, many of our published international best-selling authors will be at Gatherama with their books, signing autographs and sharing their multiple bestsellers that they have, and they have ignited lives. We love to support you in your storytelling. So if you have a book that you feel needs to come out into the world, please reach out to us and let me know how I can help you. And if you would like to ignite humanity, there's lots of different ways that you can do it. We're always raising funds for our schools. In fact, we're building another school in Indonesia. If you would like to help us with our school, please donate. We're looking forward to having you there. All right, blessings and take care. Thank you. Have a great day.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.